Hi, it's Zach here at Fort Myers Christian Church, pastor here. I just want to share an idea with the congregation here at FMCC. About a month ago, Elizabeth Weatherford came here and she shared this idea of a community garden. A community garden here at FMCC, and I thought, wow, as a pastor, I'm always looking for ways to bridge people from outside of our community to here to FMCC, because it's here we believe God is present. It's here that God touches our hearts and we claim Christ as our Lord and our Savior. And I just want to share a little bit about this community garden with you, and Elizabeth's going to share a little more as well. It took us off to Echo, and Steve and Lazille came with us to Echo. Afterward, I think we just made a phone call to David Camps. I thought Tom and Lisa would know something about a community garden and gardening, and next thing I know, he didn't answer his phone, or we couldn't find his number. So we just decided to pop over to his house, and he welcomed us in and showed us all around his garden, and just it was really neat, and we got really excited about this idea. After that, we had a lady from Echo, Alex, come over to our church, shared a little more knowledge with us about community garden, as well as Elizabeth's been in touch with FGCU. I've been in touch with Pine Manor Community Garden over there. So I'm really looking forward to this opportunity to about this potential ministry that I think can really impact our church, but even more our community, as we truly are the hands and feet of Christ in this world.
My name is Elizabeth Weatherford, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about how this community garden idea got started and the main components of it. So I brought this idea to Zach a few weeks ago after visiting Echo Global Farms. Echo is trying to feed people globally, and I saw this as an opportunity to feed some people locally. I know we already give families in need some food at Thanksgiving and Christmas, but I was trying to think of a way that we can continuously provide nutritional food to some families over the course of the year. So what we really see this project doing is helping those in need, providing them with food, and beyond that, really good nutritional food, and also maybe even giving them some skills as well in working in a garden. Also see this as an opportunity for us as a community and a church to work together and do a fun project together, while we're also serving a local need as well. So something beyond just something fun to do together, where we're also giving back as well. This is also an opportunity for our congregation to connect with the local community, more than just the people that are receiving the benefits of what we're growing. Right now I'm working on getting some FGCU students on board. There are a couple opportunities there because FGCU does require its students to complete volunteer hours before graduating. I'm looking into a couple of grants for our project, and I'm also looking for a startup community within the church of about 6 people that are willing to commit a year to this project and getting it off the ground and helping it to be a sustainable project. And the main goals of this project are, again, to really feed those people in need and give them that nutritional food that they may not be able to get or afford to buy even from the grocery store. We also really want to create a sense of community within the church, beyond just the people who are interested in helping out in the garden, helping plan events, but just even having the entire church on board with this project and support, even if it's just the garden looks nice comment, really creating that sense of community. We also want to foster community with those outside of the church. Again, not just the people benefiting from the garden, but also people who may be volunteering, such as FGCU students. And also the people who may be interested in renting plots as a way for us to continue to fund our garden. So really creating a sense of community around us, not just through the church, but maybe they eventually join our church as well. And David will give us some information about really what are the next steps in this project and what this project will look like.
Speaking of David Camps is out here right now. It seems like he's always about 3 or 4 steps ahead of me in this process. Hey David, how you doing today?
It's nice to see you.
Hey. Do you mind sharing a little bit about this community garden idea and a little bit about how we get practical now? How do we get started?
Okay, well I certainly can. What I'll try to do is share some of what I've learned over the last 2 weeks as this thing has been talked about, and we've had a couple of meetings. In case you don't know me, I'm the son of Tom and Lee Camps. I live a short distance down Winkler from the church here, and we've been here about 8 years. And during those 8 years, I've sort of taken my house yard and converted it into fruit trees and a garden in a way that is compatible with the neighborhood. It doesn't quite look like an orchard. And it was very interesting to see that we could do that here on the church property. You can see here we are on the back lot. We have some markers where we have some proposed areas laid out, and you can see that this takes up the center area of this back lot and leaves some nice open areas in the corners that can be used for some of the activities that have been done in the past, like the Fall Fest, so this shouldn't have an impact on that. My home experience is I've been doing the irrigation. I've got my own well in there. I have a vegetable garden that we eat from, and I have all sorts of trees that we're eating from, like mangoes, carambola, and avocados. And I was hoping that I could bring some of those skills to help in this project. As we've discussed this, one of the concerns is we want to make sure this looks nice from the church. So here, as we look at the area, one of our plans is to have the entire area hedged in, but not only with hedge material, but edible trees that we learned about from Echo. So the plan is that we would have this hedged in with a 4-foot wide hedge, and then we would have raised beds along the front. And the reason we would do raised beds is that we found out that the soil quality here isn't that good because this is all fill and not natural dirt. So the idea would be in phase 1, we'll put in the hedge with a 4-foot setback off of the pavement to prevent damage to that. And we would put in the 4 beds along the front and put in something that hopefully would come ready for harvest around the time you have your fall festival in October. That way, that can be sort of an introduction to the community. We might be able to give away some of the produce and just try to get interest. And then as people are interested, the concept would be this would grow as the interest develops and as we have the resources to do it, as opposed to plunking down everything at one time. All right, and then the plots that we're talking about would all be 4 foot by 8 foot. We'd either have short 8-inch tall ones or taller ones, depending on what the purpose was. And the plots would be either used by an individual, they would rent it. Church membership could get involved and, let's say, take a plot and grow food on it for distribution to a food pantry. The community could come in and lease a plot if they had an interest in it. And also, we have plans to be able to get resources from FGCU to come in here and provide labor that could take some of the other plots, help develop plots, and then the results of that would also be available for food distribution. One of the concepts that was communicated to us strongly is we're going to need to have daily, if not weekly, monitoring of the garden, and that's where my interest comes in. I know I walk my home property almost daily to look for pests and disease and problems, and that would need to happen out here also. Keep an eye on it and then either do something for something that was an emergency or direct other people's attention to it at a later date. One of the things that we need to think about, actually there's 3 things we need to think about in this area. We probably want to stop the lawn treatment. Maybe you'll get a break on what the lawn treatment costs, because we're going to be taking this almost 100-foot by 40-foot area out of service for the lawn. We don't have to mow it anymore. And also the irrigation system is one of the things we're going to think about. You currently have a well which is designed for an irrigation system, but it doesn't have a pressure tank that would be compatible with hose watering. So one of the expenses would be trying to put a pressure tank on that well system so that it would be compatible with a hose watering system. So I think that's about all the issues that I've heard at our various meetings and discussions, and hopefully that answers most of your questions.
Well, thank you, David, for your time. Really quickly, I just want to reinforce 3 different things. One, please note the community gardening ministry will have no negative effect on our fall festival. In fact, we want this to enhance that, be part of the fall fest. And then the second thing I want to mention is, please know when we had our committee meeting, our first Dream Team meeting, we talked about how this community garden would not have an effect on our budget. We plan to raise money, have a love offering, and just have other people donate from outside the community. Elizabeth's already on the ball with having different grants that can help with resources, help with financial resources, and help with just other people coming here and helping from outside of our community. And then the other thing is, I know a big question people are wondering is, how do we really what's the next step? And I really think the next step is we need to get a group of committed folks to be a launch team, to really be committed for this next year.